whenever all of us see his name, we make sure we have to attend this meeting. When we see an education session by Toastmaster Sridhar, yes, I have to go it. So all of us have positive feelings about coming to this meeting. One person who has mixed feelings is Toastmaster Arvind, because he was responsible for producing the poster for this meeting. And every time he put up a poster, Toastmaster Sridhar, winner in international speech contest, one comment would come. He's also won evaluations. Okay, then he update the poster. Also winner in evaluations. He's also won humorous speech. Okay, winner in humorous speech. What about table topics? So he's clearly a man who's won it all and done it all. And he's here today to show us or explain to us the art of international speech contest. And it's titled One Drop at a Time. Please welcome Toastmaster Sridhar Anand.
It is actually proven by research that Saturday afternoon 3 o'clock in any country is a time for people to sleep actually. But it is really inspiring to see some people take that time out to attend a Toastmasters meeting and have taken a decision, especially on the new year, to put their best foot forward to achieve something very big in life. This meeting has very high significance for a variety of reasons. The first one being, it was last year on the 10th of January 2015, I started my first education session again with Medley. And then I went on to have at least 50 educational sessions last year, one per week on an average. For somebody for almost 40 years who was really looking for opportunities to speak at least for a minute or two in any platform, to have one education session per week in Toastmasters and going beyond Toastmasters in corporates, schools, colleges and many other education institutions was something which is very phenomenal for me, and I'm feeling very proud of myself for that, and I have to thank Medley for that, for giving me that opportunity. And the second most important thing is, this IIT has a very special interest for me always, because during my school time, IIT was actually a distant dream. So I had to post to my family today when I was leaving. I said, I'm going to IIT today, give an education session. I'm going to IIT today to give an education session. In fact, my son went through the agenda and he said, actually, that please save a session should come after you finish your session. Before that, because that's how it has to be. So that's the second reason why I feel very happy to be part of this extremely good gathering. I actually had prepared a presentation called One Drop at a Time, but then I saw the agenda and they changed the speech to get ready with the speech. So please bear with me that I am going to speak on get ready with your speech. First and foremost thing that I want to tell you is that when I asked the President, Sunil Joshi, when you have so many great speakers today, Jashwant is there who is speaking, HCD is speaking, and then you have Rajesh doing the G role, Alex doing the table topics master role, and then Sarthi doing the T-Modi role. Then he gave a very classical explanation to that. Sridhar, normally when people teach photography, they actually show some photographies and show that this is how you have to take. And then they also show some bad photography and say this is how you should not take photography. So similarly, we have so many other speakers with whom we show how to speak, and with your session we tell people how not to speak. That's a good one. So that's why I'm here today. So if you have to understand how to get ready with your speech for your contest which is upcoming, how many of you are new to Toastmasters, which means you have not participated in any contest so far? Okay. The first thing is, I want you to understand, or at least I take it this way, Toastmasters contest is the shortest possible game that anybody can play. Right? Because we have seen Test cricket, we have seen one-day cricket, we have seen 2020, and there probably one time will come where we will have a 10 by 10 matches also. And you take any game for that matter, even wrestling, if you look at bouts of 2 to 3 minutes of thing, but it goes on for 5 to 7 rounds or something like that. But in my opinion, from what I've understood, is the shortest game that you can play in your life is a table topics is a contest. Tabletop is the shortest, but even if you take the international speech contest, that is the shortest game that you can play. And it gives you so much of kick that you can keep enjoying it as much as possible. But it doesn't come so easily. But if it's a game, it's a game. We don't give our life to it, but we enjoy playing it. That's how I look at it. The best performances are always remembered, especially in Toastmasters. That's the greatest thing. I will show you my performance in Toastmasters contest, but you will still feel, why is this person not here? Because I have more losers than wins. But the beauty in Toastmasters is the victories are remembered and the losses are not remembered. Only you will remember what you have lost. Your last performance that you didn't do well is remembered only by you, not by anybody else. You are called for what you have done well in Toastmasters, and that's the greatest thing that you have. And it is not only true in Toastmasters, I just went beyond and looked at the statistics of a legend. I don't think it needs any guess for somebody to see whose record it is. Sachin Tendulkar, great, right? Because he has 100 hundreds and almost 170 50s actually in the total number of matches he played. So totally he has around 264 hundreds and 50s that he has scored so far. And that everybody knows that he is remembered for the great achievement. But if you look at his track record, he has played total of 329 innings in Tests and 452 innings in One Day Internationals. And if I take the total of 119 and 114 and 145, hundreds and 50s, which means that 64% of the innings he has scored less than 50 in Tests and 68% of One Day Internationals he has scored less than 50. And nobody remembers that. It's not to demean this character. I'm saying the legend is known by what victories he made and what great contributions he made. And even somebody like Sachin Tendulkar has only 1/3 success that he has to himself. So, in Toastmasters, especially in speaking, it is good for us to consider if we have a 33% success rate that we are as good as Sachin Tendulkar in cricket. Do you agree with me? I mean, this is fact. Right? There are 68% of scores which are less than 50. And many of them are single digit, there are 19 zeros, and so many of them. Right? So if you have a 33% success rate in your Toastmasters journey and contest, you can consider yourself to be a Sachin Tendulkar of cricket. That's how it is. So even the big ones fail. That's the first thing that I want you to keep in mind when you're actually starting with your Toastmasters contest journey. And if you look at the movie industry, Linga was a classical example, right? We all thought if Rajini Kapoor shows his face, the movie will become a big hit. But Linga had to fail. And there are so many movies that if you have seen. And one sentence that I liked in this movie called Uppu Karvad, I don't know whether you have seen that movie or not. It says, Edta Padam Illata Padam. Beautiful line. I still have not found an English meaning for that. Maybe if I find it, I can use it in some of the speeches. So profound actually. Right? Maybe as I'm thinking, if you win, it's nice. If you don't win, you'll become wise. It looks nice, right? So, even the big ones fail. Tukavanam was a flop. Though it was such a huge hype that was created on that movie. So even the big people, Shah Rukh Khan's movies flopped this year. Still, they are not giving up. So I want you to keep this in mind. I may sound a little negative when I'm starting, but the biggest reason why people don't attempt it is that they have a fear of failure in contest. So I want you to keep this in mind that even the big ones fail. Now, how to get ready with your speech, right, for your contest? The first thing is, I want you to share your inhibitions. Right, the biggest reason why people don't come and speak here in a contest is that they have inhibitions. But the beauty is, other than you, nobody will remember your speech. Okay, trust me today, if I can take the table topics of today as example, Alex had given the same topic to everybody, correct? But after the first speaker, when the first speaker got the topic, everybody is thinking, how will I speak if I get this topic? Right or not? Everybody was thinking, how would I speak on this topic if I get this topic? And after the first speaker's turn was over and he went and sat there and the second speaker was getting it, he would have been thinking, oh, this is how I should have spoken. So when others are speaking, the focus is on themselves thinking, okay, how I would attempt this speech. So if you fail on the contest stage, nobody is going to be worried about what you have gone, what has gone wrong with you. There are 60 others who have not participated in the contest thinking, okay, my God, I should have given a speech like this, because he also speaks on simple topic like what I could have spoken of my brother, mother, my father and all that. It's easy for me to speak also. And that is how every person sitting in the audience will actually look at it. But we get inhibited saying that, okay, what if I don't perform well? I have to tell you, when I actually put up my performances, in the first contest that I participated in 2006, I could not even speak in the finals for more than 3.5 or 4 minutes, where the minimum required time is 4.5 minutes or so. I got disqualified. And if I had stopped at that point, I would have probably not giving a session here today. So the first and foremost thing is to shed your inhibitions. No subject experts are there in Toastmasters, correct? I don't think there is anybody who can come and say here that I am an authority in the subject that I speak. Okay, even when Justin spoke about pen, he spoke about his opinion or his profound wisdom on a pen. He didn't speak about the pen. It was not about glorifying the pen actually. So imagine there is no subject expert, no authority on any particular subject, and everybody is equal here and everyone is a learner. So from this speech what Justin gave, we all got to understand how we can correct what we have done. And that is the learning that he had, which he had transferred it to others. And there everybody gets to learn. So there is no subject expert there at all in any contest for that matter. Purpose clarity. The second point is purpose clarity. I want you to keep this in mind extremely as a very, very strong point, because I joined Toastmasters to conquer the challenges and become a great speaker. I'm sure all of you joined the Toastmasters for the same reason, right? Is there anybody who joined to become a world champion? You knew before that itself? Maybe one. Right? Very rarely people. In fact, when I joined Toastmasters, I didn't know that there was a contest like this. I joined because I wanted to overcome the fear of speaking. After I joined, I started participating in contests to actually push myself to the maximum possible limit. So everybody who joins Toastmasters, or at least majority of them join Toastmasters to conquer the challenges. In fact, I was talking to my mentor Nagaraj Rao, who happens to be one of the international directors. He was telling in the entire board meeting or the committee meeting that they have, contests actually have a very small portion to discuss. They don't even discuss about contests. They want as many people to come out of the fear of public speaking. That's the objective of Toastmasters. So from that perspective, then why should we have contests and why is it so much glorified in contests? Because it is for that individual to take maximum benefit out of it. In a gym, there are so many equipments that are available. You choose which equipment you want to use based on the requirement that you have. If you want the strongest body, if you want a six-pack body, then you choose those equipments for you to push yourself to the maximum. So similarly, if you want to actually get the best out of Toastmasters, contests become a good platform for you to do. There are so many other things, like you have the basic manual, advanced manual, leadership track, everything is available. So there are many tools that are available for you to improve your leadership and communication skills. Toastmasters contest is one such thing for you to do it. So the most important thing for you to keep in mind is this. So if you have that purpose in mind, you will find every possible way actually to approach a contest very positively, so that you actually push yourself to get the maximum. And this is my journey so far in contests, and this is how I've performed so far. Between 2006 that I've started, and I took a break for 2 years, 2008 and 2009. Otherwise, every year that I have been an active Toastmaster, I have participated in contests. And it is for Toastmasters to push me out of contests, and I will never push myself out. Disqualify if you throw me out, and then I will stop. So that's what it is. This is an international contest. This is the equipment contest, and I've been contesting every year. And in a way, I'm feeling happy that I didn't win the world championship the first year, because after that I would have contested. So today I have gone up stage almost 78 times for all contests, evaluation, table topics, international speech, and humorous speech. And that means 78 times I've exposed myself to the best of talents to compete. And that's how I have actually pushed myself to play with champions. And you all know when you play with champions, your game improves. That's how I've gained whatever I've gained from the Toastmasters games. So my purpose is to keep speaking, keep contesting, and keep conquering the stage fear. And there's so many things that I've gained out of this, that I've learned out of it, and I continue to keep contesting. And the next important point is to eliminate restlessness burden and ego. The moment you start contesting, the first thing that when we actually see others speak, we start comparing ourselves with others. Oh, this guy gave this speech. My speech should have been better than this, and actually I should, like the world championship. Even we start thinking that way, the speech is as good as the world championship, and I actually should win this. And why did I lose? And the restlessness will actually kill you. And similarly, it's good for you to get pressurized. Pressure is very important. You need to have that pressure to perform better, but it should not turn out to be a burden. After all, Toastmasters is part of our life. Toastmasters is not life. What you gain out of Toastmasters, you can actually use it in the rest of the world. But you don't have to actually give your life to Toastmasters. Give Toastmasters to life, but don't give life to Toastmasters. That's very important. So it should not become a burden. And the third most important thing is, the moment you actually win one contest, and that is when you should see your life, how it changes. People will come and tell you, your speech is great, and the next time when you go, start setting expectations, especially if you have won 3-4 contests, and they will actually talk. As soon as you come in, they will say, keep the first number certificate ready, this guy has come. All that they are sending to these things keep happening. But the moment it gets into your head, you're lost. The purpose has to be very clear every time. And if you get into ego, even your mentor cannot correct you. You will actually get closed. The ideas what has to come in will not come in. The most important thing is as to how you will behave when you are winning, and when you know that actually you can actually create a winning speech. So these 3 things are very important for you to eliminate when you are preparing for your contest. Don't show restlessness. You have to come and speak. When you come for a CC speech, and if you don't win a ribbon, you don't win Toastmasters, right? Whereas in contests, people get angry with judges. I'm sure if judges are available, if not, not in an anonymous way, many judges would have died by now. Correct? Just imagine those 9 judges. In fact, they get so much of curses from people. And what will happen is, after you come from the speech, finish your speech and come back, those are good fraternity, where good human beings are. They'll come and tell you, somehow you should be in top 3. Okay, they'll put all the 10 in top 3. They have this knack of telling, but they're good people. They could have avoided, but they want to at least motivate the people to speak. They'll come and tell all 10 people in top 3. But only 3 can come in top 3. 10 cannot come. But judges, will actually. So it's better for us to not be worried about judges. In fact, that's the last thing I'm worried about when I'm participating in a contest. So we need to reach a stage where everybody looks at it and says, okay, this is a winning speech, and you need to win that way. There's no point in saying that this judge would have properly looked at it like that, easy biased against me and all that. Because when you have to win, when you have to look at audience, when you have to speak to people, you have to look at everybody and then speak, and that's extremely important. So you need to eliminate restlessness, you need to eliminate burden, and you need to eliminate ego for you to actually make it really big. So willingness to wait is important, be open to change, pressure is okay but not burden, and okay to fail even after a championship. In fact, I've got the greatest of learning when I've lost after becoming a champion. Right? Many a times I go to the peak, and then from there I take a fall. And then I realize I become so light, I fall like a feather, and I can't get up again. That's the greatest learning that you have. So if you know that you can fail after a championship, nobody can beat you. That's extremely important. Experiment with your strengths. Right? Toastmasters is a fraternity where you see one person doing a lot of things, a lot of animation on stage, a lot of exaggerated movement on stage, and you go and try the same thing. See, for somebody like me, I have to actually talk like this, and it makes sense. If I jump across the stage and go from this corner to that corner, my body will be in one direction, my speech will be in so I have to speak like that. There are some people like Craig Valentine who will actually speak. See, even just for him, those gestures actually work very well. Whereas for me, this works very well. Okay, you have given a strength. For me, I've got a serious face. My mentor used to tell me very clearly, she said, why don't you smile after you speak? And then I realized in humorous speech that becomes actually a strength for you. Smiling, without smiling, giving a humorous speech is supposed to be very impactful. People come and ask me, actually I'm smiling, but that much only I can smile. Okay, so experiment with your strengths. Being natural works because people can easily find out if you're not natural. Topics to sync with your personality. I think that is extremely important. You don't have to go looking for big dreams and chasing big dreams and then Albert Einstein, Thomas Alva Edison, leave those people and they'll let them rest in peace. I mean, they'll have to be pulled out again. It doesn't mean that you need to go and keep bringing people and then pulling them out to show that you know everything. That's extremely important for you to take. And presentation, as I told you, to suit your style. And there are many speakers, even at the championship level. If you go and watch 2011 champion, right? He actually stays in one place and with just 4 or 5 movements across, he won a championship. So it's possible. So even this year's speaker, this year final winner, if you see, he actually doesn't have an exaggerated body language. Very natural, very simple. Moves from one corner to the other corner through the speech, and he became a champion. So what suits you, if you do it, it will be very good. And then willingness to take risk. And this is something which I have done. There are many people who have come and scolded me, who have come and shouted at me for taking risk at the highest level. I won semi-finals in 2014 in Goa with a good speech. And then if I had gone with that speech, I would have probably placed, if not first, maybe second or third, because Yashwant was there, he would have placed second, I would probably have third. I would have definitely, I was confident because I became the first runner-up in the semi-final. But I wanted to take risk and I changed the complete speech, and I realized I could not deliver after changing the content in 24 hours time. I failed miserably. I didn't even come in the top 3. So that was a good learning for me. So similarly, every contest, somehow at the topmost level, I try and take risk, and that's something which I like a lot. Because falling from one foot, you cannot say that I fell down. Correct? It's slipping down. Only when you fall from a top, you actually drop yourself and see how you are actually getting hurt, and there how much you learn. So keep experimenting, and that's something which will take a lot. So now I know in every contest, every year contest, that's something that for example, there is a time that I take some time between developing the content and delivering it. For me, the syncing of body language takes at least 2-3 practices. So if I'm not very, very comfortable with the content,